Hello, hockey fans. Welcome to the Minnesota Hockey Connection Show. We're on the air at PACT-TV studios down in City Hall in downtown Duluth. It's Tuesday, the day after President's Day, and it's February 18th. And the playoff hockeys are starting, and I got not only a special guest, a friend and classmate of mine at Duluth Cathedral. We graduated in 1968. Tom Cartier. Welcome, Tom.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. Hey, let's just get started on Duluth Cathedral. Back at our time, we won 5 straight high school state tournaments in the Catholic tournament. We couldn't play in the public school, but we beat every public school in the state at that time.
Yeah, we did.
What are your best memories of those days?
I'll tell you, Tommy, Paul, and Kevin Haney, the three of us were on the same line. And that started the first game of my junior year, and we were together for junior and senior year. So that was a great experience, just being with those two guys. I remember a couple games. Remember the game when we played Duluth East, and it was the largest crowd they ever had at the deck.
Kevin's brother Phil scored the hat trick.
Yep. and I remember that we were down 3-0. Our line scored to make it 3-1. We came off the ice. I'm down, kind of trying to catch my breath. Phil scores. It's 3-2. I look up. Phil scores. It's 3-3. I look up. Phil scores. It's 4-3.
And you had 3 breaths in them.
And we ended up winning 6-4. But, that's a way to build or stop momentum of another team.
Well, I tell you, that was the most amazing hat trick I've seen in my life.
Oh, yeah. It was.
I mean, I seen Dave Spehar in the state tournament. Brings back memories all the time. But Phil Haney's hat trick against Duluth East in front of that crowd, that crowd went crazy. Even the East fans, they couldn't believe it.
Now, I got to tell you one side story of that night. Before the game, I was nervous, and Del General said, "Cartier, go take a walk. You're making me nervous." So I walked in the lower concourse, and as I'm walking back, I walked under the coach's arm as he's talking to the team. I walk in. I'm just getting ready to sit down. I'm in the Duluth East locker room.
That is nerves.
Yeah, I'm in my white jersey, and there I'm surrounded by black jerseys.
Hey, I mean, Mike Randolph coached Duluth East for over 30 years. And I remember back in the 90s, I used to always go down before the playoff games. He's pretty normal during the game, and, he's like a Del General coach, tough and disciplined coach. But he was so nervous. I says, "Mike, cool it. Your kids will see this. You're more nervous than the kids." And he would be walking a path. I thought he'd tear the carpet up the way. Yeah, there's nerves for it, but that's good in a way too.
But that's what happens though, because that game, there was a lot of hype for that, and being on television.
And the day after Christmas.
Yeah, and it was hyped up, and so I didn't sleep the night before and whatever. In fact, I think I went into the nurse's office at Cathedral, to take a nap halfway through the day. I was so nervous, but that was fun. That was an exciting night. But the whole experience of winning 5 state tournaments and that type of thing with a good group of guys, it was fun. I actually lived the dream. I look back at it, and it was a weird time too, because it was the Vietnam War. It was a lot of things going on our junior and senior year. And winning the state tournament helped, get us through all that. But it was a great time.
Yeah, and going back to those memories, your teammate and friend, line mate, Kevin Haney, he passed away last year. And we miss him very much because we're on a Zoom meeting on every Monday with the 68 team, and we have a lot of fun talking. We go back all the time.
Yeah,
reminisce.
I miss Kevin. I mean, he was a good friend, and
the guy that had the most corniest jokes in the world.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Sometimes he'd say a joke, and we just kind of look at him like Was that a joke?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he was cool.
And we lost a few other players that were on those teams. Pokey Trex,
Yep.
one of the best athletes that ever came out of the Duluth area.
Mark
And then
Langdon.
Mark Langdon and Danny Wright were two of the nicest people.
Yep.
These are, those three are all St. Anthony boys. And boy, I grew up with them. And boy, yeah, we miss them too.
Yeah,
so
they were
that was a lot of
great
good
guys.
memories in those teams. So after high school, you did some college stuff and
Yeah, I went to-
Bemidji or
I
something?
went to Bemidji State. Was
Okay.
recruited by Bob Peters.
Yep.
And so I went there, and things were going fine. We came to scrimmage UMD, and before the game, I'm skating around because I'm all excited again. I'm at the deck, and my families and friends are there, and I stepped on a puck, hit the net, broke my collarbone
Holy geez.
before the game started. So
Oh,
I spent the rest of the year at Bemidji in my arm in a sling and whatever, and I'm thinking, why would that happen?
God loves you.
I've had some great experiences and I've had some unique ones.
Well, I
say
heard
the
a few
least.
of them. But
But
yeah.
then after that, then Del General was going to take over at Scholastica, and he called and said, "How would you like to play, for me again?" I said, "Oh, that's intriguing."
Yep.
And so I thought, okay, that's all I'll do. So I transferred to Scholastica, and I was the first captain, and played there for a year. It was my senior year. So in between, I played some junior hockey.
Did you get grants back then, or how did they work that?
Yeah, back then it was actually a full ride.
Really?
Yeah.
That was nice. Good
Yeah.
school at the
It
time
was.
too. It still is. I mean.
It was a good way to end my college career. I
So
guess.
just 1 year there, or
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
So you're
'cause I had-
captain of that team.
I had done Bemidji and then
Okay.
juniors.
Okay.
Cloquet had a junior team.
Yeah.
And so I played for them and then Scholastica.
Wow. So 1 year there, and then what did you do then? Did you start going? Did your dad own the business, the Cartier? You started it?
No, I started it
Jeanette.
from scratch. I came home one night and I said to my wife Patty, I said, "I'm going to start my own company." And she goes, "How are we going to do that? We got 3 kids and we got $500 in our savings account." And I said, "If I don't do it now, I'll never do it."
Right.
And she agreed. She said, "Okay, let's go for it." And we did.
Worked
So-
your butt off at first, knocking on a lot of doors, I bet.
No, it was a lot of knocking on doors. And
So-
I think my hockey experience and that helped me through that. Because, you realize you got to work hard and you got to
Right.
practice hard. And,
Right.
And sometimes, things go well and sometimes they don't go well. But you got to
Yep.
keep working.
Right.
So,
I always knocked on doors my whole life. I had my own businesses, and I tell you what, I knock on doors and I get 85% no's. But I was one of the best salespeople out there because I kept on knocking. And if you knock on enough doors, you're going to get a lot of customers.
oh yeah, that's what I did. We didn't have any money, and I had a polyester suit that I bought from M&K. And down in his basement, I said, I don't have any money, but I need a couple suits. He said, "Follow me." We went in his basement. He had a pea green and a banana yellow polyester suit
Great.
with the big lapels and whatever.
That'll
And so
look beautiful in the winter.
I came home, my wife looked at it, she goes, "What have you done?" I said, "Well, it's all we could afford."
I'm trying to keep it cheap, honey. That's funny. So, how many years did it take to get that business going? Probably, would you say?
I'd say a good 3 years to really get things happening.
Most businesses, if you're going to make it takes at least 5.
I started in October of 1979, and April Fool's Day, April 1 of 1980, I was at the point where either I was going to give up or something had to happen. And for some reason that day, everything happened. I insured 8 commercial businesses and that type of thing, and that's really what got me going.
Right.
So April Fool's Day to me is important.
Yeah, no fooling here. But so many years of success with this business. Your kids got Matt and Corey.
Yeah.
Is the names? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they run the business now, right?
Yep, yep.
But So very successful. So then you became a board member at Cathedral, and you started thinking to build the rink. You're one of the founding members to get that started, weren't you?
Yeah, well, what happened is 3 captains from St. Scholastica came to my office and said, Mr. Cartier, we're practicing at 11 o'clock at night in Superior. And we have classes at 8 in the morning. It's not working. Is there anything you can do? And that's what really got me going. I went, well, I guess we'll have to build a rink. So I tried to build it at Scholastica, but there wasn't any room. So then we worked out a partnership with Marshall and built it on their land. And it works well.
Is Del General still around?
Yeah.
He was still around. He was a...
Oh, no. Wait, not at that time. No.
Okay, but he was a good mentor for you during your life and that, and transferring up from Denfield.
Yeah.
And you were just there 2 years at Cathedral, but
Yep.
it was big years for you in your life, and it probably changed your life around.
Oh, big time. I transferred halfway through my sophomore year, and so I had a chance to meet with the team and be around them during that time, and was looking forward to my junior year. And my first high school game was against International Falls.
Oh, broke their streak, 58-game winning streak. Yeah, I was there.
That night.
Yeah.
And talk about nerves that are upside down.
Another game. Oh, geez. God, is there a doctor in the house? Calm this guy down. And plus, 2 of your line mates couldn't play that game. The first line.
Exactly. So I played with Phil. So my first high school game, instead of playing with Kevin and Tommy, he moved me up with Phil.
Yeah.
And so that even put more pressure on me.
Yeah.
But it was a good way to get started with Cathedral.
Right. Did your brother come up with you at the same time, Jerry, when you came to Cathedral?
Yeah.
You both?
Yeah.
Okay. So was he 1 year younger or 2 years?
1 year.
Young, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he played JV, and
Yeah.
he almost made the team his senior year. But I remember I was at Bemidji, and Dell called me and said, "I have some bad news. I have to cut your brother." I went, "Oh no, But he was the last one cut.
I mean, that was nice to do stuff like that, to call someone like that.
Yeah.
I mean, then I was looking at something, and I didn't know you are at connection with Ole Hogsworth.
Yeah, he was my fatherless boy's mentor. My dad died when I was 6.
Okay.
And when I was 8 or 7 years old, one day a purple station wagon was in front of our house. And my mom said, "You're going to go with Margaret and Ole, and you're going to stay with them for the weekend." I said, "Well, who's Ole? Who's Margaret?"
Yeah.
And after that time, he would call every Wednesday night, no matter if he was at a National Football League conference in Hawaii.
Yeah, he owned the
wherever he
Duluth
was.
Eskimos.
Yeah, but he called every Wednesday night to talk, and every Saturday.
And friends with George Hollis, big friends
Oh yeah,
with
big
him.
time.
You know who?
In fact, I met George Hollis at
Really?
his house. I met Paul
Brown?
Paul Horning.
Paul Horning, the running back.
Different
Notre Dame.
people, and then I went to a camp, one time, and sat across from Carl Eller and
Wow.
those guys, having breakfast with them, and
Wow.
So I mean, I had a lot of great experiences, but he was a good mentor.
Do you know one of our classmates? That was his uncle, John Peterman.
John Peterman, yep.
And guess what? On Pony League football, Ole would get a bus and take us down and feed us down there at Met Stadium for the Viking games at least once a year.
Wow.
He would take us all down there and pay for everything. And that's when I started to really like this guy.
He was a great man. Very humble, just a nice guy.
Yeah, boy, I tell you what.
But he taught me a lot.
I wish there's more mentors like that in this world. That would really solve a lot of problems, I think. And because I think this world's a mess. No offense.
Yeah, it is.
That's just my opinion, but.
And he taught me as far as giving back to the community. He always said if everybody helped one person, the whole world would be a better place.
That's true.
And he
So
kept
true.
drilling that in my head that you got to give back, you got to give back.
Yeah. Give back, and my mom always gave, even when she was sick. She went and helped the sick when she was sicker than them. I mean, it's just crazy. But the number one thing I ever learned from my mom, really, it was two things: smile and be kind. Just be kind to people,
That's
because
very
you're not in their shoes. You don't know. Don't prejudge them.
You're right.
Because you're not there.
Right.
You're in your own shoes.
Yeah, the word judging is important.
Yeah.
Just don't judge.
Right. No, that's great to have. You got lucky there too.
Yeah,
Man, you
well,
got to thank
big
God
time.
a lot.
Yeah, but I always wish I had my dad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And every time I played, at the end of the game, I'd always look up and say, "How did I do, Dad?" You know,
Right.
So he was there, but Ole was always at games and whatever. So
Right.
he was great.
That's nice. So you got a successful insurance business. So now you're talking about giving back. You started stuff that you're on the board of directors. You're trying to get things going. Yeah. So you got this rink started, and was that how much work was that? I mean, and
It
how did
was-
it get named Mars Arena? Bob Mars Jr.
Well, really, because what happened after we built it, we thought about what to name it.
Okay.
And Lakeview was part of it, but then we thought Bob Mars has been very active with hockey and very giving to the community for many, many years, and so we thought that'd be a good name to put on there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how it was named. But we had a lot of good people working on that the committee building that arena, and we did it quickly. I mean, it only took us less than a year to build
Wow.
it.
Wow.
So I mean, it was but I remember
It's still a
that-
very nice building, but there's now, I mean, you need improvements no
Yeah.
matter when you build it.
See what happened about, I don't know, 3-4 years ago. I hadn't been in the arena for a while, and so I went in there and I went, gosh, this place needs some help. It looks the same as it did 24 years ago. I wish I wouldn't open my mouth, because then I ended up being the chair of doing the renovations. So that's what we're doing. And it's neat. We got Tim Cortez. He's going
Right.
to do a mural, 290 feet long mural on the history of Cathedral, Marshall, St. Scholastica,
And
and
the Duluth Cathedral teams.
the figure skaters.
Oh, the figure skaters
Yeah.
too.
So we
Okay.
got Duluth Cathedral.
Okay,
It'll show the history of the Hilltoppers.
right,
And then it'll show the history of the Saints.
right.
And then
Figure skaters.
figure skaters. So
That'll be
it's gonna
nice.
be nice.
How long is that going to take?
Well, we got to raise the money first, so we're just getting started at
Right.
it. But it'll take them a few months to do that. There's no doubt. It's a big project.
So you're trying to get it done by the
By next year.
next year?
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
great.
And then we're doing the fitness center, because don't forget, Scholastica and Marshall both use the arena in the fitness center, and that has to be upgraded. There's old equipment. It's just
Well-
not right.
The fitness center is upstairs there, right?
Yep.
That's where they have like we get-togethers once
Right.
in a while in that back room.
Right.
But so that was nice when it first got started. But yeah, now you're thinking, holy cow, we're one of the.
Yeah.
We got to
Well-
get something going here.
Well, we have to do that, and a training center for the trainers also. And then on the wall from the bleachers to the other side, we're getting a big projector screen to do instant replays, advertising, stuff like that. And then Scholastica and Marshall are going to put their big banners up there.
Okay.
And then we'll have some flags for the 5 state tournaments. They'll be
Right.
there, and so we got all this stuff happening.
So
And we're going to redo the lobby. So the problem is that the teams didn't feel, especially Scholastica, talking to the players, they said it just doesn't feel like our home. It's just not there. So that's what we're trying to do is,
Right.
when you walk in, it's the Hilltop.
make everyone feels at home no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the outside we repainted with volunteers. My daughter Andrea and Trissa Anderson and Kelly Sissons and Justin. A lot of people got together and volunteered and painted the outside. Now you'll see Home of the Saints and Hilltoppers out there.
Okay.
We put the letters up. So now people at least know that's where their home is. So
So all these things are saying, how much you're trying to fundraise?
250,000.
That can get it done, huh?
Yep. And
You
that's
got
a
it done
lot
pretty good, huh?
different than raising
Is that just for the
4.6 million.
improvements, or is that for the wall too?
It's for everything.
Oh, the wall too. Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
And so the thing is that, instead of going after major donors like we did, for the arena,
Right.
we're really trying to get every hockey player that's played for Cathedral, Marshall, or St. Scholastica to give something.
Right.
I don't care
Right.
what it is, but
Right.
there's at least 1,000 hockey players out there,
Right.
past and
So
present.
what's how was I going to say this? But how do you get a hold of or find more information about this? Is there anything that they can do? Is there a website or a fundraising site or?
Yeah, we have brochures right now. And if you go to a hockey game, you'll see the brochures are there talking about the fundraising. As far as a website, we're working on that right
Okay.
now, so you can get to it. But you can actually go in and look up Mars Lakeview fundraising.
Okay,
And
I can.
it'll-
I'll get that information
Yeah.
from you, and when we put the show out on Facebook and that, I'll put that
Yeah.
that information out there so people can see it and they want to give. And boy, I mean, we have a lot of good memories at that school, and I tell you what, I grew up with 10 brothers, and most of them went down to Central. And my only one other brother and I went up to Cathedral, and it made a big difference than my other brothers because they didn't even know if they had to go to school. We were locked up once we got on campus, where
Yeah.
they're walking out of school every hour. So-
Just think back then, we all had uniforms. We had our blue shirt and blue tie and khaki
Yeah.
pants, whatever
Right.
it was. And the girls had, so you didn't spend money.
Yeah, my
on
mom
clothing.
saved a lot of money
Oh, big
for
time.
two of us. And my
Yeah.
sister went to Stanbrook, so she had her thing too. So that really made a difference going to those private schools back then, and we got educated, even though some of us didn't like it. But
One of the best experiences at Cathedral, and I think about, obviously the football and hockey was fun,
yeah,
but we got talked into being in the play West Side Story.
Mm-hmm.
And that was probably one of the best experiences I ever had.
even though they split the lockers up from the girls on one side and the boys on the other side, there was a lot of activity after school and different things and clubs and everything. And I mean, surprising, even though we're not in the classes together and that, how much people that you got to learn and
Yep.
see, and at the other functions after school and that, and dances and that. I remember the first dance. I mean, I didn't know how to dance. I made a fool of
I
myself.
don't think
but-
any of us did.
But we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And being a smaller school, we got to know most of our class.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so that was nice. Hey, so you've been around a long time in your business and very successful. And but what year did you basically retire and let your sons?
2013.
2013.
So that's
I was,
20.
I was just
12
making a
years.
comment to someone about you, and I says, you know what? I see Tom on every committee, every board of directors. It seems like he's the chair of this, and seems like you're working harder now than you did when you were working.
It does make you wonder. There's times I ask myself, why do you keep doing all this? But I guess I enjoy it, and I'm not one to sit around doing nothing. So, this arena is a fun project.
Right.
And still working on the diabetes part of it, trying to get that to.
Well, I want to talk about that. It's called Spring Point Project, correct?
Yep.
And I talked to you many years ago on this, and it was so interesting. And you thought that, hey, we might have something coming up pretty soon. But there's always government interference and this and that. And can you tell us where you're at and what you were doing over these years?
Well,
Because
what
your son Corey
Yep.
was the diabetic
Yep.
that played hockey for
Yep.
Marshall.
Yep, and when he was 10, that's where it started. And I promised him, I said, we'll find a cure. I promise you that'll happen. So then I started working with the University of Minnesota, Dr. Bernard Herring, who came from Gießen, Germany, to the U to work on just the diabetes. And his whole plan was to do pig islet cells. And the islet cell is a half moon cell that we all have about 1 million islet cells. A type 1 diabetic has none. And that's why they have to do insulin and everything else. And so he had said, I need someone to build the cure for diabetes, to help me do it. And I remember back then I'm going, I can't do this. This is huge, I say, why don't you call Carl Polat or someone? I'm just a little guy out of Duluth. And he said, well, I trust you that you'll do the right thing. And that's how it started. So I got to, I thought, okay, we got to get a doctor. That was Dr. Mark Ekman, who's passed away since then. And Cub Olson was the accountant. We had an attorney out of Minneapolis, all volunteer board that we built. We had a Martha Vetter from Toledo, Ohio, someone from Iowa. And once we got the board going, and then we had to build a facility. It had to be a one-of-a-kind pig facility that is there just for the cure for diabetes. And how we came up with the name Spring Point Project is spring meaning life, flowers blooming. Mm-hmm. The point was, the syringe, and the project, it shows a person jumping. The project is to get rid of the syringe. And so my goal is to have a bonfire somewhere in Duluth, Park Point of that, and everybody throws their diabetes supplies into the fire.
Wouldn't that be beautiful?
But right now it's in the clinical trials, so that's important that we finally, 30 years working on this, and
wow.
We're finally at the point where things are going to happen. The other thing that's happening is that stem cell. Because of what we've been doing, showing that you can put islet cells in humans, and we've been using monkeys and that type of thing over the years. Now the stem cell is really going to be the long-term cure. So there's a lot of stuff happening right now. In the next few months, you're going to hear a lot through the media and type of things. So
yeah, let's pray that we can get some good results on all this testing. And boy, I tell you, cancer and diabetes and all that, the billions of dollars that have been given to it, and you'd think something would happen, but we want it to go faster, that's all.
You're right though. I mean, I thought, I don't get it. We can get to the moon, we can get to Mars, but we can't get together and cure these, and but we're there. The thing is that Dr. Herring was doing human islet cell transplants, and so he would take, but it'd be a cadaver human that had brain damage, and he'd take the pancreas out, take the islet cells out, inject it into a human, and cure them of their diabetes. The problem is that there's only about 3,000 of those available per year, but there's over 1 million people that need it.
Right.
That's why we had to go to the pig cell thing. So,
amazing.
I remember I had a call from a prominent TV station in Minneapolis, and they said, we got to ask you a question. Are you going to kill the pig, to get those islet cells? And I said, let me come back and ask you a question. Do you eat pork? Yeah. Do you eat bacon? Yeah. Do they kill the pig? Yeah. I said, all we want is the pancreas. You can have your bacon, you can have your pork, you can have your ham. We just want the pancreas.
Yeah. Boy, Tom, we can talk for a long time on a lot of different subjects, but especially the hockey. But this is very important, diabetic. And I'll put stuff out on the Mars Arena improvements and wall net where people can donate net. And it was great seeing you again, and good luck on your grandkid. He plays for Duluth Marshall, and they play in the playoff game tonight down in Forest Lake, Duluth Marshall. Kyle Black, cheer him on. Let him score a couple goals. Get the winner. But thanks a lot. Tom Cartier, classmate of 68 on the Duluth Cathedral championship teams in 67, 68. He was the captain of St. Scholastica. He's in many projects, and and is an all-around good guy. And
Thank
say
you.
hi to your wife, Patty, and your kids, and good luck tonight.
Well, thank you very much. And
That's
thanks
it for
having
the
me.
PACT-TV studios. Thank you, Jim, Liz, and Sean for producing the show, and we'll see you at the rink.